Kari Lake, another Republican politician that I like very much. Kari Lake, I think also has her analysis a little bit off. She just came out as part of her Arizona Senate campaign to advance her new platform on abortion. Take a listen.
This total ban on abortion that the Arizona Supreme Court just ruled on is out of line with where the people of this state are. The issue is less about banning abortion and more about saving babies. I agree with President Trump. This is such a personal and private issue. I chose life, but I'm not every woman. I want to make sure that every woman who finds herself pregnant has more choices so that she can make that choice that I made. I'll never forget the first time I got pregnant, taking that pregnancy test, looking down, and I was excited, but I'll be honest, I was afraid as well. I was nervous. I was anxious. It's natural for women to be nervous and anxious when they're pregnant. I never would ever assume that any woman had the same exact feelings I had or situation I had.
Okay, I like Kari Lake. I hope she wins her seat in Arizona and everything. I don't know who advised her to change her stance on abortion and adopt this view. This is a terrible view, both morally and politically. It is unjust in itself, and it will not work politically. It will repel pro-lifers. It won't attract pro-abortion people. Look, people sometimes make mistakes in politics. It happens all the time. Whichever advisor advised Kari Lake to adopt this view and to put out this commercial should be fired yesterday. This was a huge, totally unforced error. Kari Lake, this is a very unfortunate new policy on abortion. I want to get this out of the way at the top. I understand that it's a controversial issue. I understand that Republicans probably are not going to campaign on this being their number one issue, and they're not going to campaign in the clearest moral and ethical terms on this issue. I get it. I'm not even opposed to that. Prudence is the top political virtue, and prudence is a really good thing. So if it were the case that Kari Lake came out and she said, I'm pro-life and I want more babies to be saved and fewer babies to be killed, and that's where I am. This race is going to be won on Joe Biden's terrible economy and on Joe Biden's terrible immigration policies and on the way that Joe Biden has pummeled the American family. And she just focused on other issues and downplayed the abortion issue. I would totally get it. I would applaud her. I would think that's actually pretty prudent and would ultimately, it would be both perfectly just in itself and redound to the benefit of the cause of life in the long run. That's not what she's doing here. What she, and I fear some other Republicans are going to end up doing, is just moving to the left on abortion and still running on abortion, which is a huge mistake. The reason that the pro-lifers here, that the conservatives don't want to run on abortion, is it's kind of controversial, and pretty much any statement you make about it is going to lose you some votes, so you got to downplay it a little bit. Well, here, she's doing the worst possible thing, which is she's adopting the pro-choice, pro-abortion rhetoric, which means she's going to alienate her own base, the pro-lifers who are probably the most motivated voters on the right. So she's going to suppress the foot soldiers in any Republican campaign, the pro-life campaigns. She's going to suppress enthusiasm from her own side, which she needs every single one of those guys to come out and vote for her. And she's going to totally fail to win over the pro-abortion people who view her as a surrogate for Trump. She's part of the MAGA wing of the party. They hate her especially, even more than they hated, John McCain from her state, or Mitt Romney, or one of the squishier Republicans. So it's just not going to work. The problem here is the Republicans who advocate talking in this squishier pro-choice way about abortion, they think they're being really prudent. They're being very imprudent. This is not going to help them at all. And what Kari Lake said here is not just a kind of downplaying or a kind of prevarication about abortion. These are talking points from the Democrats in 2008. Okay, what did she say exactly? This is such a personal and private issue. It's not. It's a public issue. It's a political issue, because the question is, do we have the right to kill innocent people? That makes it political. If it's just about you, first of all, there's really no issue that rises to the level of a national discussion and debate that is purely private. Even doing drugs or something, which seems like it's private, it's not really private, because it affects your communities. It affects your safety while walking down the street or while driving or anything, But this isn't even talking about the legalization of some drug or other. This is about, do you have the right to kill another innocent person? So that's obviously a political issue. The Democrats want to pretend it's a personal issue because they deny that the baby is a baby. So that's totally adopting the pro-abortion side of the issue. I chose life, but I'm not every woman. Hold on, what? You chose life. That's very laudable. That's good. You should be proud of that. I chose life, but I'm not every. So I chose not to murder my precious baby, but you poor people, you can kill your babies if you want. You black people, you can kill your babies if you want. You people in the inner city, you can kill your babies if you want. Forget about even the racial and the socioeconomic distinctions. You Democrats, you can kill your babies if you want. You liberals, you can kill your babies. No. The reason it's wrong to kill a baby is not that the baby might turn out to be a Republican. It's not that the baby comes from a certain socioeconomic class or a certain geographic location or a certain race or anything else. The reason it's wrong to kill a baby is because the baby's a human being and innocent. Totally incoherent line. I chose life, but I'm not every woman. You chose life because it's good for you and for your baby not to kill the baby. It's good for your soul. It's good for your baby not to die. And it's good for society not to tolerate infanticide. So why don't you want that good thing for other women too? I want to make sure that every woman who finds herself pregnant has more choices so that she can make the choice that I made. What? Oh man, that sentence is one word off from being acceptable and maybe even good. It says, I want to make sure that every woman who finds herself pregnant has more fill in the blank, resources, has more support, has more, sure, all those words are fine, so that she can make the choice that I made. I mean, I'd also like to make sure that the law supports protecting innocent life, so we don't just totally leave it up to the whims of these individuals. But sure, I like that. I want to make sure every woman who finds herself pregnant has support, has love, has care, has resources. Yeah. I want to make sure she has more choices so that she can make the choice that I made. How does having more choices help her to make the choice that you made? If the choice that she has is have her baby and raise the baby or give the baby up for adoption, then she's going to be more likely to make the choice that you made. If she has a third choice, though, if the choices are have the baby and raise the baby, give the baby up for adoption, or murder the baby in the womb, she is going to be less likely to make the choice that you made. The expansion of the number of choices is not going to incentivize her to make the choice that you made, namely not to kill the baby. Choice, choice, choice. This is the pro-choice position. Totally. I don't mean to beat up on Kari Lake so much. I assume this was just a blunder, and campaigns every campaign makes a blunder. Okay, but whoever advised her to do this should be fired. I hope that person has been fired already. This is completely unacceptable to the pro-life movement, and she will lose if she keeps this up. She will, and it's not because I'm telling people not to vote for her. If I were in Arizona, I would quietly urge her to change her position, but I would recognize that the other candidate is going to be extremely pro-abortion too, and so I would make a political calculation here. I'm not telling people not to vote for Kari Lake if she loses. It's not because I'm telling them not to vote for her, but I am making a prediction right now. If she keeps up this line, where she's going to be almost totally pro-legal abortion, but not quite the same, she's going to lose. The pro-lifers are not going to show up. And she's going to lose. And she's going to have no one to blame but herself and her advisors if this is her line. Completely insane. Let this be a warning, not only to the Lake campaign, which I hope fixes the ship and goes on. She's got a ton of political talents. She could make a great senator. This should be a warning to the other Republican campaigns too. This way lies madness. Man, that was a good clip. And it was well articulated, and it was hot and handsome. And if you want more of it, you got to ring the bell and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.